This is the Masterbuilt Gravity Series 1050 digital charcoal grill and smoker combo, and I've been cooking on it long enough to share what's great, what's frustrating, and who it really suits. Key features that matter to me start with the GravityFed charcoal hopper and the DigitalFan. I load lump or briquettes from the top, toss in a fire starter, and the fan does the airflow management for me. Set a temp on the control panel or the app and it locks in, whether I'm holding a steady 225 degrees Fahrenheit for ribs or blasting up to 700 degrees for searing. The 1050 square inches of space are legit. The main reversible cast iron grates give me sear marks on one side and better smoke flow on the other. And the two upper foldaway racks help with ribs, wings, and sides. I use the fixed side shelf for tools and sauces and the folding front shelf for trays. It's a big rig, about 61 inches wide, 33 inches deep, 52 inches tall, and roughly 203 pounds, so plan a permanent spot and a cover. From my experience, heat-up times are fast for charcoal. I'm at 225 degrees Fahrenheit in around 8 to 10 minutes and near 700 degrees Fahrenheit in about 15, which makes weeknight cooks possible. The hopper capacity is solid. On mild days, I get roughly 6 to 7 hours at 240 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit with briquettes. In colder wind, more like 5 to 6 before topping off. I've done overnight pork butts and briskets without babysitting, and the results have been excellent. Clean charcoal flavor with wood chunks layered in, deep color, and consistent tenderness. Compared to my old pellet grill, the flavor has more punch and a more authentic charcoal character. In my opinion, that's the main reason to pick this over a pellet unit. Now the part I wish I'd known on day one. The build is a mix of sturdy frame and panels that feel thinner than I expected at this price. The body is painted steel, not fully stainless, so you'll want to keep it covered and wipe it down after cooks. The control panel housing and some plastic bits can feel a bit delicate near heat. I haven't babied it, but I do keep a routine. Empty ash every cook, pull and clean the grease tray often, and scrape the manifold and the corners inside the cook box. That last step matters a lot. The cook chamber is square, and fat tends to collect along the edges and over the heat manifold under the grates. If I go to high heat with built-up grease, flare-ups can escalate fast. I had one nasty grease fire early on, which was 100% a wake-up call to stick to a deeper clean if I smoked something fatty before searing. Since I started scraping the manifold and corners regularly, high heat flare-ups dropped to the occasional quick burst instead of a full-on fire. I did run into a common quirk: the door safety switches that tell the fan to stop when the hopper or ash door is open. I had one hopper switch act up and read open when shut, which killed the fan and stalled a cook. I replaced the switch and it's been fine, but it taught me to keep spare parts on hand because when a switch dies, the grill won't run. Some folks talk about bypassing the switches. I stuck with replacing them because I want the safety features intact. I've had no issues with the fan motor itself. The control panel has worked, though the app connection can be finicky. Bluetooth is okay within a short range. Wi-Fi sometimes drops. When the app stays connected, remote temp control and probe monitoring are super handy, especially for long cooks. When it doesn't, it's annoying, so I still keep a standalone thermometer nearby for peace of mind. Assembly took me a couple of hours with help because of the weight and bulk. The cart is stable, the four wheels roll, but moving it across uneven pavers is a two-person job. I like the little touches like the cord and probe storage, and the reversible grates are a real benefit. I season the cast iron like a skillet and keep it oiled. It helps with sticking and rust resistance. Cooking performance is where this thing earns its spot. Searing steaks at 650 to 700 degrees Fahrenheit on the sear side of the grates is legit steakhouse level. For low and slow, I set 240 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit, and the temp holds with minimal swings. I've done ribs, pork shoulder, brisket, and a lot of chicken wings. Wings and chicken thighs are some of the best I've made at home. Crispy skin, real charcoal flavor. Brisket bark is excellent, and I've had no problem keeping a clean smoke once the coal bed is established. I mix briquettes for consistency and a couple of hardwood chunks for flavor. The airflow design burns pretty clean once it's up to temp. It's perfect for someone who wants charcoal flavor with set and hold temperature control. If you love the ritual of tending a traditional offset, you might find this too automated. If you want the convenience of a pellet grill but dislike the flavor, this splits the difference nicely. When you respect the maintenance. The catch is you can't treat it like a gas grill. You need to stay on top of ash, grease, and interior scrape downs. Skip that, and you'll fight flare-ups, especially after a fatty cook followed by high heat. A few practical tips based on what's worked for me. Give it time to burn clean before loading food, especially for low and slow. That first 10 to 15 minutes lets smoke settle from white to thin blue. Keep the hopper from bridging by gently shaking the charcoal down if temps sag. Add wood chunks in the hopper and a couple in the ash pan area near the fire path for steady smoke early in the cook. If you just smoke something fatty and you plan to sear next, scrape the manifold and corners first, then crank it. I'd recommend this for flavor chasers who don't mind routine care, backyard cooks who want to smoke on weekends and sear steaks during the week, and tinkerers who are comfortable swapping a switch if needed. If you want totally hands-off and zero maintenance, or you live in a coastal, very humid area and won't store it under cover, you might get frustrated. A high-quality cover and a simple cleaning habit are not optional here. They're part of making the most of the design. In my opinion, the value is in the food it puts out and the range it covers. I can run a full rack of ribs, a pan of beans, and sides up top, then turn around that night and put an edge-to-edge crust on ribeyes. That's the appeal. The trade-off is the upkeep and the occasional part swap. I've accepted that as the cost of the charcoal flavor and the speed. In conclusion, the Masterbuilt Gravity Series 1050 hits a sweet spot for taste and control, with clear caveats on build and maintenance. If you're willing to clean it like you mean it and keep a spare door switch handy, it can be a standout backyard cooker. If you want a true appliance experience with minimal care, this won't be your favorite. As for me, I keep using it because the results are worth the routine. The bark, the sear, the smoke, those keep me coming back. If this video helped, please subscribe and drop your questions or your own tips in the comments. Thank you for watching.